Good morning, class. So today we're going to be making the red vines. So kind of wanted to walk you through how that's going to work. So yesterday during class, we went ahead and looked at some dimensions. So during second period, we came up with these dimensions. During third, we came up with these. In the end, I kind of went back, consolidated them, and settled out on this. Realized that in second period, I messed up and said 4 revolutions. It's 3. For the most part, you all agreed on the dimensions of the front, outside diameter, and inside diameter were really close, and same with the little nub. And the overall length was pretty close, so I just kind of compromised in the middle for both of you. All right, so let's get going. So these were the final dimensions. So one of the things I did is I first started with the Halloween Funsies project because I want to create a new project. So I always go ahead and create a new project anytime I start something new. So I hope you guys are doing the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a new part right off the bat. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a new part to go ahead and get that going. And then what I'm going to do is the very first thing is, just so that I don't have to keep referencing the dimensions, I'm just going to go ahead and keep these dimensions up here. I'll keep them up during class. But why don't I do this? Let's start with inserting an image, actually. And then that way, I don't have to go ahead and keep going back. In the meantime, I want to go ahead and thank Corey Dusan, who gave me the idea for doing this. I think it's a great idea to 3D model candy. He does it in his class, and so I appreciate the suggestion and advice on how to make these parts. Okay, so let's get going. So first I'm going to start with this sketch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a center point circle, and we agreed that it is 6/16 to the outside. So instead of typing in and even getting a calculator, I want to show you the fact that you could just type in 6/16 equals 6/16. So again, equals 6/16, and then hit enter. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a second circle, and it was 4/16. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to make a second circle equals 4/16, enter. From there, I'm going to make an outside circle, and it's 1/16. You guys actually said it was less than 1/16 overall. Why don't we make the diameter 1/16 up here? I think that's a fair compromise. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, awesome. So now I have my 3 circles, and you'll notice that it converted it for me and made it into decimals without me even grabbing a calculator, just by typing it in specifically. Great. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to circular patterns. This was a sketch feature that we learned. What do I want a circular pattern? The circle. Around what axis? The center axis. That's my point of rotation. How many do I want? I do want 6. And one really important thing, don't make it associative, so that you can, associative means that they're associated to each other, so you can't really modify one part individually. So if I wanted to trim this bottom, I couldn't do it because they're all linked together, and you can't do just one thing on one part individually. So I'm going to make them each independent features by unclicking the associative. From there, I can go ahead and trim. I know it's a little repetitive, but I can go ahead and trim each little part. Luckily, there's only 6 of them. Awesome. Now I have my shape. So now what I'm ready to do is I'm ready to go ahead and I want to make this into a twirl with 3 revolutions. So I'm ready to go ahead and do that. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to use a feature called coil. So where is coil? I always forget. It's here. And it's going to ask me for the profile. So I want this profile to wrap around. So I'm going to select it. Then the axis I want. Well, what does that mean? Well, actually, there's already 3 pre-developed axes. There's the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. If I click on the z-axis, I'll notice that that's the one that's actually going down the center. And that's the one I want to coil around. The y-axis wouldn't make sense because that would go up and down. It's not the right axis. In terms of the size, pitch and revolution, pitch means how far apart each revolution is. I don't know that. All we measured was the, what did we measure? How many revolutions in the height of the part. So if I look at the part, we said it was 6 5/16. So I'm going to just type in equals 6 5/16. Oops. There we go. how many revolutions. I came to the conclusion that it was actually 3. And now let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. And we'll notice that the sketch goes away. So now I'm gonna have to reference the picture again if I want to. No biggie, I have it up here. So now we've accomplished this part. So this is probably gonna be new for some of you, but you have 3 planes that already exist, the YZ, the XZ, and the XY. And the XY is over there. So what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna create a new plane. And I'm gonna do this ahead of time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a midplane, and I'm gonna select this front face and this back face, and you'll realize it created a new plane right in the center. At the same time, I'm gonna start a sketch here, and I'm gonna project the geometry of this feature. All right, and you'll see why I'm gonna do that. Because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create one more plane. So I select here, I'm gonna click the front, but one of the things you can actually do is if you just grab the plane, and I haven't I've let go of the mouse, but I haven't gotten out of the features. If I grab that plane that I just created, I can actually go ahead and, oh, I think I selected the wrong one. Okay, sorry about that. I said I could do that, but I clicked the wrong one. So let me delete this plane. I want to create a new plane that's offset from it. Whoops, offset from plane. So I want to say this one, and then I want to say how much I want to offset it. And I'm going to offset it 1/8 of an inch. Oh, I think I did that exactly right now. I'm going to click OK. Great. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on this plane. It's going to get me back to the front, but I'm offset from there. I'm going to create this little rectangle. Great. I use 2-point center because I know it's going to be centered. So what did we say? It was 8/16 in that direction. I hit tab, equals 2/16, I think you just said. Hit there. I'm going to finish the sketch. And I'm actually now going to loft. So I'm going to loft from this projected sketch. I had to have projected it in order to loft it. Oh, man. I clicked on the wrong one. So let me delete that. I'm going to again select this outside face. There we go. And I'm going to loft it to there. And I'm going to click OK. Awesome. That looks pretty good. And now the reason why I created this midplane is because now all I want to do is mirror it across to the other side. So I'm going to do a 3D feature mirror. I'm going to select which feature. What's my mirror plane? It's going to be this center mirror. I'm going to click OK. And there we go. It's looking real good. I think we're done. What things I can do is I can hide the visibility of these planes so that it looks a little more realistic. I'm going to hide the sketch that the project geometry is on. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make it, why don't we make it ABS plastic so it's shiny? Why don't we make it red? I'm just going to type in red and let's see what options I have. Oh, smooth red. I like smooth red. That's good. I'm going to go to my view tab and I'm going to put it in realistic mode. I'm going to go ahead and throw some shadows on there because I always like to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in a 1 light room. And there we go. And now I've made my red vine. I think it looks pretty good. Great job, group. I like your dimensioning. I think you guys did a great job with it. I'm going to make it swirl around for a while. I don't know why I picked that way to swirl it, but let's go for it. Makes you want to just bite it out of the screen. All right, awesome. Great job.